So you've just taken the first step into the right direction of your tech career. So welcome to day one of 6 projects in 6 days, the crash course. So this is where you learn the basics of HTML. And by the end of this, you'll walk away with a personal web page resume. So let's get right into it. So to get started, you need to create an account in StackBlitz. So we'll be using StackBlitz as the web app to code. So you don't actually need to download anything. Everything will be done on the web page. So all you need to do is just go to your Google account. So over here and then stack, let's click in here. Now I'm actually logged in. So for you, you probably, all you need to do is just log in. If you have a Gmail account, you can log in with that or create a new account. And basically this is the page that you roughly see. So you can see here, I have one project here. So right now, what we need to do is to create a new project and rename it. So all you need to do is click the new project over here, new project, and what you want to do is create a new static HTML, JS, and CSS. So this one right here. Click on it, it would create a new project. And okay, so it would generate you a couple of codes and a couple of files already on the get-go. So all you need to do for now is rename it. Let's name it resume. Now that we've created a new project and renamed it, before we start coding, we first need to delete a few files. So the reason for this is because we want to focus on HTML only, and I don't want you to get overwhelmed with anything else besides HTML. So go ahead and delete the style CSS, right? The style CSS file, go ahead and delete it like this. Delete the script.js, and also delete the page2 HTML. So we won't need them for now, and don't worry, we'll actually cover all of them in another day. So we have actually 6 days. So in today, we're just going to focus on HTML, right? So now open the index HTML file here, which is already open. Make sure that you only have 3 of these. And over here, you can see that there's already a generated code. Now let's remove some of the names and the lines here. And all you need to do is leave the header and body container. And I'll explain in a bit on why it's so. For now, just try follow along, right? So all these, let's go ahead and remove it. So just leave the header. Let's leave the title. Yeah, just the nav main, delete this. So you should only have your body and H1 like this, like so. So make sure you're actually having just these few lines. Once you've made all these changes, hit save and the preview page will actually change automatically update to reflect whatever you've done. So as you can see, while we were deleting some of the things, it will actually change and update to it. So the title, let's say Emil's resume, right? And this H1, that body, let's name it Emil, yeah, which is my name. So over here, you can see it actually reflects live. As soon as you change it, it will actually reflect it on the page. So now to open it in a different browser. So if you're the type that you want to see instant changes, you can keep it this way. If you want, you can also open it, click this button over here at the bottom here, open preview in a new tab. This opens it, and all you need to do is click project, connect the project. And when you're connected, you will actually reflect it and see how users would actually see your web page look like in the new tab, right? So as you can see here, it's the same thing that we've seen just now, just in a new tab. So you've actually done quite a lot of coding, and with this, you've actually just created your new first live website. So now, what does it all mean, right? What we've done quite a bit, we've deleted some files, we've actually changed some things, and what does it mean? So let's start from the beginning. What is HTML? So HTML actually stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and it is also used to create and structure content on a website. So the file that we just changed, which is the index.html, the keyword index in web development refers to the default or home page of a website. So what that means is the default page of our resume project right now will actually show whatever we code in the index.html file. So whatever we put it inside this file, it would actually show as the default or the home page of our website. So if someone navigates, this is the first thing that they will see. So now let's understand the code that you've just written. All these keywords with the angle bracket just now, here. So all these keywords in blue that have the angle bracket, what we call them are HTML tags. So they are the building blocks of web pages. So most of them will actually have an opening and closing. So to know the difference, the closing will always have a forward slash and the opening doesn't, right? So here, as you can see, if you're looking at the opening and closing, so head, this is the opening, closing would have a forward slash. So there are a few key essential tags, for example, like HTML, head, and body. These are what forms the document's framework. So it tells the browser how do you actually display a certain text, image, or maybe media as well. So say you want to create a paragraph in the text of your HTML file. And so this is how you actually do it, right? So say you want to add a paragraph. So paragraph, the keyword is actually P. So over here, what you need to do is have an opening and closing tag. So to do that, the keyword, you have to key in the correct keyword, which is P. And now you've just created a paragraph. So let's add a text in between the opening and closing. And the text we just, when we add them, for example, say, this is a paragraph, right? The text, this is a paragraph. What we call that in between the open and closing tags is what we call content. So for example, this is a content, that content, right? So everything you see in your index HTML right now is what we call the starter code. So earlier when we created a new project and all the default code was actually shown to us and created automatically. So this is what we call the starter code or a boilerplate code. Right? This is the minimal code that includes the essential elements that is required or the metadata that is required for a modern browser for like Google Chrome or Firefox, any browser to basically display the page correctly. So with these boiler page, you have some default tags already created. So let's go to the default tags. So over here at the top, you can see it has doc type HTML here, right? The first line, doc type HTML. What does that mean, right? It actually declares it is a document type. So the HTML that refers to the version HTML5. Right now, you can see with this doc type, when it's lowercase, it refers to the latest version. Right now, it is HTML5, right? And if you want to change a different version, it will look something like this. So you can actually Google how to actually change different versions. But if you want to change to, say, 4.0, this is how it will look like, right? So over here, doc type HTML public, and then you follow along. It's basically telling it to use the HTML version 4 or 01, the transitional type, right? And it would actually then use HTML version 4. Right now, let's go back to HTML version 5. So HTML is basically over here at the bottom over here. Lang is basically language and EN is in English. So this is going to be an opening tag and a closing tag. And what this means is basically it's the root element of the page. It is a container for all the HTML tags that would represent and indicate that the start of the HTML document. So whatever that's inside of this HTML tag will be shown in the page. Now, we also have a different one where it's indented head and body, right? So what do they mean? Head basically contains the metadata of information about the web page, and it is not shown on the page, right? For example, title, the styles, different scripts, right? So as you can see, title is basically the page title on top of the browser. So it will be used, it will also be the same title when the page is bookmarked or whenever you share it on social media. So over here, I've placed my title to be Emil's resume. So over here, you can see in this tab, it will show Emil's resume on the top, right? And basically body, this body tag, it basically contains the visible page content, can be text, images, or different elements as well that the users will actually see the first thing when they view the web page. So we have also this tag, which is H1. What does it mean? H1 is basically headers, right? So it goes all the way from H1 to H6, where H1 is bigger, the largest one, and H2 will be the smallest one, defining different sizes of the headers across numbers, right? So now looking at all this, let's add a few details to our resume, right? Let's insert, go ahead, dun, 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 HR, and say I want to insert education, closing tag, header 2, which is a different one, a subheader, right? Now this one would be, say, Sigma School 2026, and then the HR, it would be work experience. Oh, oops, not this one. It will be, sorry, HR first and then header. Okay, like so. Close H1, like so. Okay, let's remove this for now. Okay, work experience. Cool. So what does all this mean basically? So what I've done is I've included HR, which basically inserts a horizontal rule or line to break the content sections. So how we want to see it is click save, refreshes this, go over here and there. This is what HR is. It's basically a horizontal line to segregate different sections, right? Now, having these H1 and H2, as you can see, these are different header sizes. So you can see H1 is bigger and H2 will be significantly smaller. Now that we've added that, let's add a few list items to basically show what I've actually done in my time in Sigma School, right? So over here, let me add a list. Okay, here and like so, right? Say, yeah, and HTML, and then let's add another one, which is basically created an amazing resume website. Cool, like so. Okay, save this, save this. Okay. So what I've just added is UL, new keywords and new tags that you might not be familiar with. But what I've basically done is UL, as you can see, is defines a container of an unordered list, right? So in that unordered list, you will need multiple different list items, and LI, the keyword LI, represents an individual item in the list. So over here, how it will look like is basically like this. So it's going to be containerizing an unordered list, and it would follow based on the list items that I've added. So I've added learn HTML, created an amazing resume website. Oh, there's a typo. Website. Okay, save this. Ta-da. Okay, resume website. Right? So UL is basically the container to show everything that's inside this UL opening and closing. In between them will be the items that will be included in the list. And LI basically shows the individual list item, right? So I've actually done a different project. So let me copy some of the parts in and paste it in so that we can speed up some of the process. So as a developer, you actually need to identify which are the correct codes you're actually looking for and know where to apply them. So over here, you can see there's a reference code that I've done, something similar as well. Basically, as a developer, you'll be going through a lot of like references and documentation on websites on how to solve, add or solve certain problems. So you need to see where in the website you can actually, or even in different codes that you're referencing your previous codes, where you want to actually copy, what are the things that you actually want to copy. So for example, in this instance, I've actually done work experience. So let me just copy here, right? To actually see what am I actually copying is basically referencing some of the things that I've actually done in the past. So over here, to know which are the places that I actually want to do it. So you can see the difference is I've done H1 here instead of H2, right? So over here, it's much more easier because this is basically an exact replica of what I actually want to do. So I know, okay, under work experience, I'll just need to copy my work experience as well. But over here, what some of the websites, for example, this React website, it actually helps you, for example, passing props to a component. They'll only show you a portion of a code, I would say a code block, that it actually just shows you a certain thing and a certain code section that you will need to be able to solve a certain problem, right? So in this, they only show you a small section and you need to know how to actually implement it. So going back to the project I've just done just now. So to know what I actually need, I need to find the correct code block that is in between the tags that I actually want. So to find that, I'll basically find, for example, in work experience, uh, this is an example, right? So I've actually done H1 here. So let's say if this is H1, I would basically find the tag HR here that I want to use, and then go all the way to the end of the body, which is what. So over here, I'm missing this section here. So what you need to do is basically go over back here again and paste it. So now I've actually fit it to be exactly what I want. Oops, sorry, not that. Okay. Okay, now hide that. Okay, so I've just fit it to exactly how my previous reference code was. So how I did it was I referenced the headers. So I know that I needed to copy all the way to the end of the body because that's what I was missing at the end, right? So everything in between is what I was missing. This is something common when you're working in your development journey to be able to know and be able to spot the difference. And some of things might be more complicated. So you actually learn along the way, and we also walk you through how to do that later in the future, right? So now based on the code that I've just copied, let's understand what we've just done. So as you can see, there will be two different tags, right? One where we just learned, which is P, which is a paragraph, right? The other one is B. Now, this is actually used to make our text bold. So over here, it's whatever is in between the opening and closing, it's going to be bold. So skills will be bold, interest will also be bold. How that looks like, let me save that. Okay, so over here, you can see skills is being bold, interest is being bold. So only the ones in between B. So So this is a resume that you can complete by having your LinkedIn, right? So how do we actually add your LinkedIn profile? So over here, let me just make it a little bit prettier, add some spacing, save it. Let me see. Okay, now it looks much more better, right? So this actually looks like a resume. And to actually do that, let's add our LinkedIn. And how do we proceed to be able to showcase, okay, this is me and this is my LinkedIn, right? So to do that, type in the tag A followed by href to create a hyperlink to find your LinkedIn profile and then paste it. So how it works is A over here, opening tag, say LinkedIn, closing tag. And then with this keyword A, you would need href. And over here, href, you just follow along for now. Let me say, let me find my resume over here. So we are trying to link our LinkedIn profile into our resume website. Let me go ahead. Okay, so this is going to be my, oops, not this. Okay, so this is going to be, let me copy that. And all you need to do is just paste it in. Save it. And here. Okay. So the keyword A, the A tag, right? What does it mean? It creates a hyperlink. And href that we just added is an attribute, and it is short for hypertext reference. So in other words, URL, right? So over here, after creating the A tag and adding the attribute href, I will link my URL, right, equals URL, and then link with the key with the word key under the name LinkedIn, right? So what that means is basically going to show it like this. I will see LinkedIn as a hyperlink, and when I click it, it'll go to the link that I've just linked it with over here, right? So it navigates to this link. which then shows my LinkedIn profile. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so A is a keyword and href is an attribute. So what is an attribute? Attribute provides an extra information to the HTML element, right? A reference creates a hyperlink and href will actually show that this is the hyperlink, right? So now your task, you've actually created a pretty good resume right now, as you can see. So right now, there will be a task for you. Your task will be to add additional information, right? So you can add in your phone number, you can add in your email. And if you want a little more challenging task, you can actually try adding a hyperlink to your email that opens up an email application, right? So this is something that you can actually try along. And if you have any questions, just feel free to ask us as well. So that's it for day one with HTML. I hope you guys enjoyed it and happy coding.